Hello dear students, this is Amrita Sane from Biology Department, Jyoti College, Belgaum. I will be starting with the lesson that is the living organism. It is the first chapter of the unit Diversity in the Living World. So when I am talking about the living world, what do you mean by the living world? See outside your window. You can see that there are going to be so many different living and non-living things that you can see around you. Take the birds, take the plants, take the animals. All these are going to be called as the living organisms. These are living, surviving. Why do we call them as living, or why we are going to be calling them as surviving? There has to be some reason why there is a difference between a living organism and a non-living organism. How do we differentiate between a living organism from a non-living organism? And what exactly is life? Then, how can we divide, or how can we study life in different forms, or how do we classify the life forms? There are smallest bacteria to the largest animals. How can we categorize them? We are going to be seeing all this in this lesson, that is the living world. So in this lesson, first we will start with the definition of life. Then we will go with the properties of the living organisms in this video. I will be sending the notes together with this video. You have to make a separate fair book for these notes. Write the notes clearly and neatly. Use different colored pen for heading, but don't use red pen. You can use a black pen for heading, and then you can write in blue pen. Keep your notebook neat and clean. This will be checked when the college reopens. So you have to maintain a separate book for biology. With this, let us start with the chapter that is the living world. So let us start with the first chapter, that is the living world. So in the living world, whatever you are seeing into your surroundings is going to be called as living. So when we are talking about living, what do you mean by life, or how can we define life? So life is nothing but it is a unique, complex organization of molecules. So it is unique means there is no other thing like life. Life is going to be one of such kind wherein different characters are together making it living. It is a complex organization of molecules. Complex, complicated. It is not a simple form. Many molecules together are organizing themselves to make it a complex life form. And this complex or molecules are going to be expressing through chemical reactions which lead to growth, development, responsiveness, adaptation, and reproduction. Now, what are these words? Each of these words you are going to be studying detail in my next slides. Here only you remember the definition of life. Life is going to be a unique, complex organization of molecules. So, complex organization of molecules it is going to be, and it is expressing this complex molecules through chemical reactions. And these chemical reactions are going to be leading to growth, development, responsiveness, adaptation, and reproduction. The simpler definition of life I have also added in my notes. Then, coming to what is a living organism. Here we studied what exactly is going to be life, but what is going to be a living organism? We are going to be calling an organism as living only when it is self-replicating. Self-replicating means it can produce itself own copies, or the cells can divide, you can say. They are replicating on their own. They are evolving. Evolving means they are changing themselves. Now, when we are going to be taking birth to our parents, We are not exactly the Xerox copy of our parents. We are different. We have evolved. We are having common characters of mother and father, but altogether we are going to be a different individual with different characters, different feelings. So we have evolved. Then, self regulating. We are going to be having our own digestive system. We are having our own respiratory system. If we want to survive, we have to eat food, we have to respire. So, self regulating, we have to do all that by ourselves. Interactive system, we have to interact with other organisms, and we should be able to respond to external stimuli. Suppose somebody is going to be coming to beat you, you will move behind. Or suppose there is a fire, if you are going and touching it, you will remove your hand. What is all that? It is the respond to stimuli. So only when a living organism is self-replicating, evolving, self-regulating, interactive system capable of responding to external stimuli, it is going to be called as a living organism. Then, coming to next, this is important from the exam point of view. What are the properties of the living organism? So, when we are talking about the properties of living organism, when can we call that the organism is living or the organism is having life? How can we exactly know that the organism is living or dead? We can know that the organism is living only if it is following these 5 characters. Which are those? First one is growth. Second is reproduction. Third, metabolism. Fourth, cellular organization. And fifth, consciousness. Let us see each one of them. Coming to the first property of living organism. The first property of living organism is growth. So when we are talking about growth, growth is going to be nothing but it is increase in number and mass of cells. So whenever the cells are going to be increasing in number, when they are increasing in number, now here you can see this is a cell. This cell is dividing. It divides and forms 2 different cells. So when a cell is dividing, it increases in number. When it is increasing in number, automatically it is also increasing in weight. So this weight is nothing but the mass. So whenever there is going to be increase in number and increase of the mass by cell division, it is going to be called as the growth. Important character of the living organism, that it grows. How? By cell division. How we can identify that growth has occurred? Because there is increase in number and mass. Mass is nothing but the weight of the organism. So this is the first character of living organism. Then here two points to be remembered are, in plants, when we are talking about plants, growth is continuous throughout their lifespan. You can see the trees. The trees are continuously growing. As much as they are going to be living or alive, they continuously grow. The branches continuously grow until they are dying. But it is not in the animals. In animals, growth is only up to a certain age. So we are also growing. But after a certain age, the growth of the animals is going to be stopped. However, the cell division is taking place to replace lost cells. Suppose we are getting hurt. When we are getting hurt, we fall down, there it is going to be loss of skin. Therein, the skin cells will divide and your hurt will heal. How is that possible? That is cell division. We will stop dividing, the cell growth will stop dividing for after a certain age. But there are certain cells even our body also, which are dividing to replace the lost cells. For example, even the blood cells. Even the blood cells continuously they are multiplying throughout our life. So in this manner, our growth is going to be only up to a certain age, but some cells keep on dividing, which are there to replace the lost cells. Then, coming to the next point here, basically, growth is increase in mass and size. That is all we have seen now. But when I am saying increase in mass and size, then non-living objects like mountains are also growing, because herein also you can see, suppose a mountain is there. On this mountain the ice fall is going to be there. When the ice fall is there, the mountain will grow. Maybe it was smaller in the summer season, but in the winter season, due to the snowfall, the mountain has grown. So does this mean that the mountain is living? No. Herein, the growth is taking place, but this is not growth. It is taking place by accumulation of material. The material is going to be falling over, accumulating, and because of that, the growth is there. So growth is here from external, whereas in living organisms, growth is from within, from inside the body cells, the growth is taking place. But in spite of that, only growing cannot be considered as a defining property. Only if we see the organism is growth, or suppose we are taking only growth, growth alone cannot define the living organism. So what are the next characters which will help us to define the living organism? Let us see. So let us go to the second character over here. The second character over here is going to be reproduction. So the reproduction is the second important character we are seeing into the living organisms. What is reproduction? Reproduction is nothing but production of progeny having features similar to those of parents. So when a parent is giving birth to a new individual, and this new individual is going to be same like that of the parent, similar, not exactly same, but having similar features, like human beings are giving birth to human beings. A cock and a hen is giving birth to a chick. So herein they are going to be having similar features of those of parents. So organisms can reproduce sexually or asexually. Many of the plants and many of the animals also are reproducing asexually. Asexually means without the involvement of two parents. No need of a male and a female. You take example of a rose plant. If you want to grow a new rose plant, you are cutting the stem and you are directly planting the stem. Therein, formation of the seed is not necessary. So that is asexual or vegetative reproduction. Whereas sexual is going to be wherein the involvement of male and female is there for the formation of the egg. It is known as sexual reproduction. So organisms can reproduce sexually and asexually. Herein, if we are talking about the unicellular organisms, which are the unicellular organisms? You can take your bacteria, or you can take your fungi, or you can take, this is an example, that is yeast. So all these are going to be the unicellular organisms. So these unicellular organisms that are there, unicellular means made up of only one cell. So these unicellular organisms, growth and reproduction are same, because they are only single cell. Only one cell is making one organism. So if it has to reproduce, this one cell has to divide into two to form a new individual. Even here, this is only one cell. If it has to reproduce or produce the children, it has to divide itself so that it produces the second cell. So in the unicellular organisms, growth and reproduction are same because their reproduction only is by cell division. Then herein again, like the growth, the reproduction can also not be called as a defining or a sure shot property of living organism. Why? Because there are many living organisms which do not reproduce. So are they not living? For example, mules. Mule is nothing but a combination of a donkey and a horse. A mule is a infertile or a sterile organism. So do you think it is not living? Or you can take the worker honeybees. Many of the worker honeybees are not reproducing. So are they not living? Or you can take certain infertile human couples. Some of the couples or some of the parents don't get their children. They are incapable of producing or reproducing. So are they not living? So hence reproduction is also not the perfect defining property. You cannot say only if the reproduction is taking place the organism is living. No, you cannot say that. It is not the defining property of living organism. So let us go to the third property. Let us see what is the third property. Third property is going to be your metabolism. What is metabolism? I will first tell you in simple term. You are eating food. When you are eating food, you are not eating only glucose or you are not eating only the sugar. You are eating many things. All vegetables and all are containing the protein, the vitamin, the fat. All you are eating in the form of the food. But to do work, what you need? Energy. So you're eating all the food, and to do work you need energy, and the energy is going to be produced by the ATP molecules. ATP is a currency cell. So this ATP is going to be produced by the glucose. So for the body to produce ATP, the glucose is necessary. But we are not eating only glucose, we are eating the rough food, everything we are eating. Whatever we are eating is getting converted into glucose. This glucose is getting converted into ATP. How? That is going to be through a sum total of biochemical reactions. Many reactions will take place inside our body, inside our cell, so that the living system is formed or our molecules are working together and giving us energy. So it is metabolism is going to be nothing but it is the sum total of biochemical reactions taking place inside a living system. Only if the organism is living, only then this biochemical reactions are taking place. So yes, to some extent we can call it as a defining property of the living organism. So metabolism is nothing but it is the sum total of biochemical reactions taking place inside a living system. Living system word is very important because herein certain metabolic reactions can also be demonstrated outside the body in cell-free systems. So inside the laboratories, they have proved certain metabolic reactions. So here, because of this, the definition has to come as it is the sum total of biochemical reactions taking place inside a living system. Only when the biochemical reaction is taking place inside a living system, it is going to be the defining feature of a living organism. Then coming to the next part, or which is going to be such a feature which is making the living, or only if that character is also there, you can say the organism is living. And that property is going to be the cellular organization, and the last one, consciousness. So what is this cellular organization? It is going to be the fourth property of the living organisms. All the organisms, right from the unicellular bacteria to the large elephants and whales, all the organisms are made up of the cells. So organisms are made up of one or more cells. It can be unicellular, made up of one cell, example bacteria, or it can be multicellular like you and me. We are made up of more number of cells. So each and every living organism is made up of a functional unit called as a cell. So cellular organization of the body is going to be the defining feature of living organisms. Only in the living organisms we can see these type of cells are present wherein the metabolism is taking place. Then coming to the last property of the living organisms, important one, it is the consciousness, responsiveness, response to stimuli. That is what I was telling you in the starting. Consciousness is nothing but it is the ability of the organism to sense their environment and respond to external stimuli. So when we are talking about this consciousness, you see the smell, you feel the smell, you feel the cold air, you feel hotness, you feel cold, you are responding. If you are feeling hot, you start owning the fan. If you are feeling cold, you wear sweater. So this is what you are conscious. When light is suddenly flashing on your eyes, you close your eyes. It is consciousness. So it is the ability of the organism to sense or recognize their surroundings is going to be called as consciousness. It is also a defining property of the living organisms. Only the living organisms are responding to the properties like light, water, temperature, other organisms, chemicals, pollutants, etc. So consciousness is the ability of the organism to sense their surroundings or environment and respond to external stimuli. If somebody is shouting at you, you respond. So that is what the consciousness is going to be, the defining property of any living organism. So this is going to be the last point here. All organisms are aware of their surroundings. So it is the defining property of living organism. Each and every, whether it is a plant, whether it is an animal, each and every living, if we are saying living, it has to respond. So that is what the defining property of living organism. So by this we can say that the cellular organization and consciousness are the two defining properties of the living organisms. But a living organism can be defined only when it is growing, reproducing, metabolism is taking place, cellular organization is there, and it is conscious or responsive. So this is going to be the 5 important properties of the living organisms. All the 5 are going to be important from the exam point of view. So only human is the only organism having self-consciousness. So that is the reason why we are staying in houses, or we're so well developed, because we know, we feel, we respond, we know to communicate. So we are self-conscious. So only human are self-conscious, which has made us to develop so much. So with this 5 important properties of living organisms, that is growth, reproduction, metabolism, and cellular organization and consciousness, let us stop with today's video. The next part is going to be diversity in the living world. We will see in the next video.